So let's look at an application for systems of linear equations. In particular, we're going to look at cost, revenue, and break-even points using a system of linear equations. So this is problem number 15 from our textbook. It's on page, I think it's 491. We're told that a company is planning to produce and sell a new line of computers. The fixed cost will be $360,000, and it will cost $850 to produce each computer. Each computer will be sold for $1150. So I want to write a function, a cost function, and then also a revenue function. So the cost function is going to have two parts. There's a fixed cost and an incremental cost. So the fixed cost does not depend on how many units I make. It's just a flat $360,000. The incremental cost depends on the number of computers that I produce. And so that's $850 a piece, or 850, and I'll use, since I'm writing this as a function of x, I'll use x as my variable. So if I produce one computer, it would be 360,000 plus $850. Now the revenue just depends on how many I sell, and that's 1150x. So if I sell one unit, my revenue will be $1,150. So let's graph these and then see if we can estimate where our cost equals our revenue. So that will be the point where these two, the two graphs intersect. So let's go back to our calculator to insert the functions. I'll clear the existing information out and put in my cost function, which is 360,000 plus 850 times x, and the revenue function, which is y2 in this case, is 1150x. And let's look at the graph. And we're not seeing anything. I think that's probably because of the window here. Now in this particular problem, as far as the values of x that are realistic, so I cannot produce or sell a negative number of items. So I think 0, when I'm thinking about how I'm going to lay out my graph, I think that I want both the x axis and the y axis to start at 0. Now, as far as what a maximum value should be for x and a maximum value for y, that might require some trial and error. So for x, if I'm in production, I'm thinking I may, like a computer manufacturer, thinking about the number of computers I might manufacture. Maybe I can manufacture up to 1,000 of them. And so since I went from 0 to 1,000, I don't want to tick mark every 1 unit. How about we put one every 100 units? For my Y minimum, I can't sell fewer than 0. And I know that my fixed cost is in the hundreds of thousands. And even if I just manufactured one, it would cost me over $360,000. So let's choose a value that's well above that, maybe $500,000. And again, I'm not going to want to put a tick mark every 1 unit. How about every 100,000? And let's see what that looks like. So I'm at least seeing part of my graph now, but the point where they intersect is not within view. So I think I need to adjust my maximum values on both the x and the y. So let's go back to our window. I'm going to change this from 1,000. Let's try to 1,500. And I'll change this maybe to a tick mark every 300 units. And I want to change this to, let's try 750,000 and graph. Still not there. Let's change it one more time. How about we go up to, I think it was the y that's giving us the trouble. Let's change this to 1 million, and I'll put the tick marks every 200,000. Still not there. Let's try this one more time. So 1.5 million. And finally, we're getting to see where these intersect. So to find the coordinates, remember that we go to our calculation options, choose number 5 to intersect, hit enter 3 times, and the point where these intersect, so something like this. This point is at 1200, 1380000. So 1,380,000. So this is my X value, this is my Y value. So when I produce 1,200 units, I'll break even at that point. If I can, so again, this is my revenue, and this is my cost. Now, beyond that point, the revenue exceeds the cost. So that would be this area here. Whereas prior to that, my costs are more, I'm losing money. So again, here's the revenue. I'm sorry, this is the cost. Remember, because we had that fixed cost, which was 360,000, even if we didn't produce a single unit. So that would be things like, I don't know, your equipment, your research and development, all those kind of things that are fixed and that don't depend on the labor and the materials that go into individual units. So up to this point, my cost exceeds my revenue. And then afterwards, the revenue are more than the cost. But the break-even point is here at 1,200 units and 1.38 million.